Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of the Professor's Picks here on this Friday afternoon, alongside the man himself, Mr. Ken Golden, Professor of Prog. What's going on, Ken?
Good afternoon. What's happening?
Ken and I have just been bullshitting, talking about grilling and smoking food, I should say, for about 15 minutes before we started. So now we're both hungry, and when we're recording this, it's not quite dinner time yet. So
See, there's the germ of an idea for a new show, to do like a cooking show. There you go.
You know how many times it's been brought up ever since I did that one episode all those years ago? Did you ever see that?
No.
I did one of my Wednesday review episodes. God, this has got to be like 9 years ago. And I did it from my kitchen. And as I was reviewing an album, I also made this cool gourmet sandwich, chicken sandwich, whatever, on camera. And I loved it. It was great. But this was back then when nobody was watching the channel. And I always wanted to do like a kind of some follow-ups to that. And I never did. So
you'll kill me for saying this, but I think you guys are crazy for not doing like a once a month beer show. For all the beer you guys drink, I'm not a beer drinker, but I know all you guys are. And if you did it like once a month, I think it would go over great. I tell you, my nephew has a bourbon channel.
I know, right? Yep.
And he gets a ton of people watching that channel, and it's a bunch of guys. To me, it looks like a bunch of hayseeds, from Kentucky talking about bourbon, and they they'll get like 300, 400 people in the chat going on.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, for everybody watching who doesn't think that every other week Simon, Stephen, and myself talking about and drinking beer, and you want to see it full time, let us know. Maybe we can make something happen. I don't know.
There you go.
Beer of the week show, right? Or beer of the month.
Yeah, something, Yeah, you could do that. You could do like
So what do you got for us today?
All right. So last week was kind of light. This week, sort of light too. I'm going to pad it out a little bit, so we'll have stuff to talk about. And also, there's a bunch of interesting stuff in transit. So we're going to get the pre-order out of the way. There's one pre-order title. We have Weather Systems, Ocean Without a Shore. Weather Systems is basically, for all intents and purposes, the new version of Anathema.
I was going to say, I saw that title, and I was like, is this Anathema related? There you go.
It's Daniel Kavanagh and Daniel, I think it's Cardoso. They were the original members of the band, and Anathema's on, let's just say, a hiatus. I don't know if they've officially broken up. Yeah. And from what I was reading, they said about 80% of the material for the Anathema album basically evolved into this new project. So we've got two versions of it. A CD, and then a 2LP blue vinyl. Do I have the little JPEG of the blue vinyl? Oh, there you go, Ken. Look at that. Look at Mr. Professional. This comes out September 27th. So,
sure, a lot of Anathema fans will be waiting with great anticipation for that.
They're an interest. I always thought Anathema was a very interesting band. I saw them once. I really enjoy them. They evolved. By the time they were done, they were a completely different band from what they started with.
Oh yeah.
And I wouldn't call them a metal band.
No, not at all.
And based on the one track they put out from this Weather Systems, sounds like Anathema. Kind of sounds like Anathema.
As I would imagine. Yeah.
So the CD and the 2LP blue marble vinyl. That's September 27th. All right, going through the alphabet. New CDs. Argos, Halfway Between Heaven and Mirth. So I think it's kind of a clever title and kind of a cool cover. Mm-hmm. They are, I believe, German, and I think, again, I guess I maybe should take a note. I think it's their 7th album. They've been around a bit. Very strong Canterbury flavor to their music, and nice long track on here. There's like a 20+ minute track on here, and I've only made one pass through. It's good stuff. All right, here. Oh, yes. The Cyberiam, Unobtainium. This just showed up this morning. And you're shaking your head. Why are you shaking your head, Pete?
That album cover.
Yeah, well. So Originally, these guys, they're from Chicago, and great musicians. Kind of heavy, kind of like heavy prog rock. I hear a little bit of Rush in their music. Tommy Murray, the drummer, he also plays like in a Tool cover band. He's a monster player. And this was originally, these guys were just going to put it out on vinyl, which I thought was kind of an odd idea. And Mark Monforti, who has progrock.com, he has a label called Essentials. He convinced them to do a CD. And it just showed up this morning. They're pretty popular, these guys.
I wonder if George or Lewis are familiar with these guys.
Absolutely, they are for sure. And I know Luis is. George, I think George is. So, and in fact, Luis, I'm pretty sure he knows Tommy. So he may know the other guys. And they play out. So Deep Purple. So Deep Purple, it's called Equal One, and I had the CD DVD. We sold out of it, and I have more on order. So you won't see it on the site. You should see it on the site like Monday, Tuesday. That'll be back in stock. I still have some copies of the single CD. So this is the first album with new guitar player Simon McBride.
Yep.
And good player, plays a Les Paul. So the ever-changing sound of Deep Purple, right? They make it work.
Hey, all three songs that they released, earlier, really good. So
I really like the first one. I don't know about Lazy Sod so much, but I thought the first one that they put out was really good. So yeah, the last album wasn't so good when they were doing the cover tunes.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, but this, I think we got a lot of promise here. All right, this one I want your input on this one. Full Earth. We finally got inventory on this thing, and on Stickman. It's called Cloud Sculptors. These are guys from basically Motorcycle and Kanan. And I have a hard time describing this. I know you reviewed it.
Yep.
I know you really liked it, and I really like it. To me, it's like very, very heavy. It pummels you, but it's very proggy. You get like Mellotron on here and stuff. But it's got a little. To me, it's got like some of that stoner rock thing happening. It's like a marriage of all these things. I don't know.
Very psychedelic too. I think it's a pretty terrific album. I think fans of like Elder will like this band a lot.
Yeah.
Although it's not quite the same, but it's there are elements of like what Elder and like King Buffalo do, but I think it's a little heavier and it's a little more stoner rock and doomish in spots, but there's plenty of prog and psych going on here. It's a dynamite album. It's long though. It's like 87 minutes. Really long.
A lot of like there's a bunch of like 20-minute tunes.
Oh yeah, it's mostly that. Yeah. It's really good though.
Yes.
I'm trying to think where I have it here. I'm looking for it. That's like where is it? I don't know. It's in these piles somewhere.
I think when I first got it, there you go. I had ordered from a distributor, and I ordered 30 copies, and they shipped me like 7. And I remember you took the first copy, and the others were gone in like 2 minutes. And so I got it right from Stickman. So
good label.
Good label, quality stuff. And this is a very good album. I think this is going to be. I think this album, even though I think I'm doing a shitty job of describing it, I think this album's going to be on a lot of people's year-end best list.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Next one, Nikolo Kotzev's Nostradamus, the rock opera, live in Sofia. So Nikolo Kotzev, he. I don't remember the band. He had a band, like a melodic metal thing, little neoclassical guitarist. Hadn't heard from this guy in like forever. And this is one of those, when he did the studio album, I think it was like around 2001 or something like that. It was a really long time ago, maybe even before that. It was one of these all-star rock operas where you had 10 different vocalists, all well-known guys. It was a project. So this is actually a live performance. He's from Bulgaria. This was recorded live in Sofia, I believe in 2016, and Frontiers just put it out. We have two versions. We have a 2 CD DVD, and we have a Blu-ray. The only name that jumps out at me that I recognize is Thomas Vikstrom, is one of the vocalists, and Thomas is a great singer. All right. If you don't like this album, you blame Eric Porter. Mark Lettieri, can I tell you something? So Mark is the guitarist for Snarky Puppy and a band I'm not familiar with called the Fearless Flyers. Do you know the Fearless Flyers?
I know of them, but I've never listened to them.
I have no idea what that is. So I would not call this fusion to me. Like I wouldn't call a lot of these instrumental guitar albums fusion. You just did a show on it, right? I would put this in that category. Super talented player, very melodic, based on the tracks that are out there from this record, and good, fun, not fusion, not to my ears.
It's like instrumental rock, blues, funk, jazz hybrid,
Yeah.
right?
It's a little bit of all that. So that begs the question, the bigger question, with Snarky Puppy. I don't have a tremendous amount of experience with them. I find them to be an interesting band. Is Snarky Puppy a jazz rock band or a fusion band?
Not in the traditional sense.
Right?
I know that's like an escapist answer, but I think some of their music is, but I have a hard time calling them a full-fledged fusion band like we know fusion bands are. But there's lots of elements of it in there.
Well, they have like the big horns, right? But just having horns doesn't make you a jazz band, doesn't make you a jazz rock band, right? I mean, then Van de Graaff would be,
Yeah.
or Chicago, or Tower of Power. There's all these different elements. What I find interesting about Snarky Puppy from the videos I've watched of them, they're playing and everybody in the audience is wearing headphones. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's standard for all their shows. I know, and I know people that love Snarky Puppy, and I think I'd be
very popular. Yeah,
I'd
like to see him live.
If this guy Mark Lettieri, if he came around, I'd go check him out.
He's a great player.
Mark, come to Philly. So there you go. Eric spooges over this guy. So I brought it in. Eric, I brought it in for you, baby. You got to be an evangelist. So you got to tell people to buy it.
He's got it already. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten me a review of it yet, but I'm sure it'll be coming.
Okay. Next thing we got. This is actually a restock I'm slipping in here. Needlepoint, walking up that valley. This is a great Danish Canterbury band. I had this. I got it. I think actually it was last year, and sold out of it pretty quickly. Really, really nice prog Canterbury. It's good shit. That's all. Next, this was weird. Nektar, Journey to the Other Side, live at the Dunellen Theater, June 10th, 2023. This is one where the label shorted the distributor. So I had a ton of copies on order, and they shipped me 3 like a month ago. I'm like, what am I going to do with 3 copies? So I never mentioned it in any of our weekly shows. So now I actually have inventory. It's a 2 CD live Blu-ray. And it's obviously Roy's gone. It's the latest version of the band, and they're doing old and new material. You're a Nektar fan? You want it. Next, Sonus Umbra.
Here we go.
Whiteout. Look at that cover. Now, I just want to point this out to people. I know Luis has a lot of fans, right? Luis Nasser is in this band. If you've never seen Luis, this is actually what Luis looks like. This is almost like a photograph of Luis. If you imagine him sitting on the toilet, and just like this guy, and it's a lifelike image of Luis. Good, very good. I haven't heard it. I literally just got the sound files just before we started to record, so I haven't listened to this album. Have you heard it yet?
Not yet.
So, as I remember, Sonus Umbra, it's a very, very good. I wouldn't call them symphonic prog, but a prog rock band. And I assume we'll be talking about this album more in the weeks to come.
I think so.
I mean, I think if we don't, Luis is going to get off the toilet there and he's going to kill us. So it's kind of a cool cover, right?
Yeah. I like it.
Actually, I just noticed if you look at the O in Sonus, it's got like the Punisher thing going on.
I see that. Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. That's great. Maybe that's supposed to be like Kingpin or something like that. I don't know.
With hair.
But if it's not Kingpin, it's definitely Luis. All right. Voice. Holy or Damned. German. If memory serves, melodic metal. This band has been around forever. I don't know who's in this lineup, and I haven't heard them in years. I used to sell a shitload of Voice albums. They were on Massacre way back when. I sold a ton of their stuff. They were like money in the bank for us. Every time there was a new Voice album, they would go out the door. And apparently still around. Just quality melodic metal. I don't know who's in the band. I don't know if you ever heard these guys, but yeah, it's good stuff. They kind of touch on prog a little bit. But that is it for CDs. I'll run through the vinyl real quick. Beardfish Destined Solitaire, never been on vinyl. So now we had pre-orders on it. 2 LP black, 2 LP red. They have a new studio album in the works. Deep Purple, we have 2 LP black, 2 LP purple.
Look at that album cover. Woo!
Yeah, they all expenses spared on that album cover, huh? So I wonder whose handwriting it is.
I don't know.
Full Earth, we have that on transparent vinyl. Needlepoint, got it back in on vinyl. This guy's really good. Nightingale, Nightfall Overture. The black vinyl had been delayed a week or two, so we now have the black vinyl. And Threshold, Wounded Land, and Psychedelicatessen. They've gone back to the original masters. I actually remixed those 2 albums, the first 2 Threshold albums.
Great album. Both of them are great.
Classics, in the prog metal genre, especially, you figure British band, what was coming out, from as far as prog metal. They were in
UK, yeah, they were like the first, right? And that one right there, that's Damian Wilson's debut, right? It's really good. Yeah.
Yep. And Psychedelicatessen, I always love that cover.
Yeah.
And so they've remixed it. And I think that's what I got this week.
Cool.
There's there's one other thing. I always forget them. So here's like a pro tip. When you go to the website, go look under new arrivals. Don't always just look at like everything we have plastered on the front. Go up at the top header and look in the new arrivals, because that's where you can see what's been restocked. And also sometimes we get new titles in that I just don't have enough quantities to feature on the front of the site. So a couple of weeks ago, when I brought in all that stuff from Germany, all the Garden of Delight stuff, I cleaned that dealer out of all of his Spanish jazz rock, 70s jazz rock reissues. So we have some really nice things on the site. Bands like Secta Sonica, who I think, Pete, you would like. They kind of, I turned Chris on to them. They kind of sound like the Allman Brothers in a way. They're instrumental.
Yeah, I saw you guys talking about that.
They're good. They're very good. And then Compania Electrica Dharma. There's with Tody Solar on guitar. There's all kinds of cool things. But the problem is, I ordered like large quantities. I was getting like 3s and 4s. So
you don't have a lot of them, yeah.
I don't have a lot of them. So if you go to the site and you scroll through there, you might see something that's of interest to you, because they're all quality jazz rock, and they all have there's Barcelona Traction, there's all kinds of crazy stuff, and they all have like a jazz rock, a Latin Catalan, Latin jazz rock approach. So I got what I got. That's what I got.
So I'm on the website right now. So there's the new Demiolas in stock.
Oh, that's the other thing. I didn't mention the Al Demiola. Do I still have any? No. I ordered more Al Demiola. I sold out of it. I had no idea what the reaction would be, because when I brought in that last live album, nobody bought it. So, you know, when I saw Al, he was talking about this new album. I decided to order copies. I didn't go crazy. And when, you know, everybody started ordering it. So I don't have it. That's why I didn't mention it. You brought it up. It's your fault. It's your fault.
My fault.
So I've ordered more, and they should be here. I should be here like Monday, Tuesday. So it's a double CD. Al's playing acoustic, but they make it a point of saying that he plays electric. I've only heard like one track. I think it's got some orchestration on it, and yeah. So I don't. Yeah, that went quickly, and that Deep Purple 2-disc version, the CD DVD, that sold right away. So,
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
So.
I mean, technically, it's this is I love doing this show with you, and it's great for my business, but there's this balancing act of when the new stuff shows up, when I put it on the site. It's always a guessing game how well something will do. Sometimes I get it right, I nail it, and sometimes I'm way off. And it's got to be hard to figure it out sometimes, you know.
I'm brilliant, but there's only so much I could do. You know, taxing my brain. So yeah, so that's what it is. And I see you over on the side there. We already got new arrivals showing up for next week. So that's street date next Friday. We'll have this. I'll keep hawking this. This street's next week. The Orson Space Collective. That street's next week. We'll be getting the pre-orders out momentarily. And yeah, I'll come up with some stuff to talk about next week.
Sounds good. So link and all of the items Ken showed and talked about today will be pinned in the comments below. So for all you copy and paster folks, have at it. That'll be down there for you. And the theme of the show, as always, is
buy a lot, buy often.
There you go. Check back fairly often for new stuff all the time, all the damn time, right? And we'll see you back here next Friday for the Professor's Picks. What do we got coming up here on the channel tomorrow? We've got the review crew with Jamie Laszlo and a new crew this week. In fact, I think Eric is going to be on the review crew. I think he's going to talk about that Mark Lettieri, I think. Pretty sure. But we'll see. And then ranking the albums on Sunday. Grant Arthur's coming back. He and I will be doing our top 10 from Joni Mitchell.
Oh.
And yeah, a lot of cool jazzy stuff in that catalog, especially in the mid to late 70s.
Yeah, there were some great records. Don Juan's Reckless Daughter. I mean, she had a hell of a band. Yeah,
she did. Hijira and there's like a whole bunch of albums in that couple-year period where they
just came out with a vinyl box set. Did they do it for CDs as well?
I don't think so. I think it's just vinyl, but yeah.
So
a lot of good albums in that catalog, you know.
Yeah.
So that's coming up on Sunday, and we'll see you all then. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. For Ken Golden, I'm Pete Pardo. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Look for all the new stuff down in the comments below, and we'll see you next week here picking stuff with the professor. Till then, don't go to Poughkeepsie and pick your feet. Pick your stuff here on this.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.